And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is July 8th. It's Tuesday. It's 2025. Hope you're having a good day. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. The markets, the economy, your job, your industry, Washington, D.C., and today's title of this show is one of my top, well, there's so many good Genesis songs, but let's call it a top 10 for me. Land of Confusion. You ever hear that song by Genesis? Land of Confusion. We're going to get to that in a minute because, as you know, we have this little motto about what goes on in D.C., and that is low taxes, less regulations, get the hell out of the way. And we have an administration now that is low taxes, less regulations, higher taxes, and land of confusion. We'll get to that. We'll also get to a letter, an email. We don't get any nasty emails anymore because I really do believe that people understand we are straight down the middle. Because we're talking the political side of the markets and the economy, that we take them all on. It doesn't matter to us who it is. But every now and then we will get an email. Sometimes accusing us, sometimes jumping all over us, sometimes making absolutely no sense. And that's part of the spectatorship that's out there. And when you do a little TV and a little radio, you get reaction, and that's okay, as long as it's respectful. Well, we got an email from somebody who likes me, but it turns out they were answering somebody else and their opinion on me, and it wasn't a very good opinion of me. We're going to go through that. And of course the markets and all the other noise, but today's title is Land of Confusion. But I first want to start out with a symbol. PHH. It's called Park Ha, H-A, Biological Tech, symbol PHH. I had never seen this stock before. It's a company with no sales, or maybe they got a couple of $100,000 of sales. It was a $4 IPO in late December. It's China-based. And as you know, there have been some wacky moves in some China and Hong Kong-based stocks. Things that have gone from 2 to 50, back to 2. And we simply tell you, we don't know what causes it. But this IPO that doesn't have no sales, $4 IPO, really didn't do much, hardly traded. But it went to $4 up to, let's call it $12, $13 in March, April, and May. And in the last 3 weeks went from 13 to 41. 10-bagger from the IPO. Even though, and we're not here to put anything down, we're just stating facts. There's nothing there. No sales. It says the company provides skincare and cosmetic products under this Park Ha name. So we have been saying to you on this show, don't be the last one in on these things. That catch them early, you can make a lot of cheese. Imagine if you got this thing, it was a $4 IPO, and it really traded around $4 or $5 for a bunch of weeks. And it was $41 going into today. I wish I owned some before today. But we always tell you, companies with no sales always, eventually, and that's the key word, eventually go back to where they came from or worse. Unless, by luck, and we've seen it, there's been some biotechs with no sales bought out for billions of dollars based on the potential for drugs going forward. Today, Park Ha Biological Tech dropped $38.02 to $2.99, the lowest price it's ever been, down 92.71% on 8.2 million shares traded, more than the float. It's just a warning shot from us. That's all. And interesting enough, I have seen no news on the company. I gather there may be some news out there. I go to their website, company profile. We have 43 franchisees in China, but I'm not showing any sales. Management team, okay. Shows a board of directors, stock information, SEC filings, financial results. Let me see what's under that, if I can find it. Oh, it says not available. That's interesting. That's interesting. Not available. I'm just letting you know. One of our mantras came to fruition today in a big wow. I don't think we've seen one like this ever. Ever. And I noticed it opened up at 41. It stopped trading at 11:05 a.m. at 38.50. Opened up at $6.75. So you could not sell it from 38.50 to $6.75. And it finished at $2.99. And again, I see no news. We're just doing the warning shot. Just in case you're involved with crazy. I will tell you that I just put in the words Park Ha Biological Technology News. I see no news from today that caused this today. We just wanted to bring it up because protect your capital. Know what you're getting yourself into. Know the history of some of these, and again, crazy moves in some of these China/Hong Kong stocks, and we have no idea what caused them. Do you know there's another one called AMTD Digital, symbol HKD, which came public in July of 22. July of 22. And I don't know what did it or what the hell happened, but the stock came out. It was a $7.75 deal. By the way, we're not making this up. It went to $2,555. $2,555 in days. And in days back down to 160. And guess where it's back to now? $1.74. I worry about that froth and speculation that's out there. There's been a few of these things. It's very weird to watch. I wish I'm able to catch one. Recently, a biotech with no sales just went from $1 to 83. Symbol RGC. Hong Kong-based company, Chinese medicine. Within 2 weeks, it's back down to 19. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, just wanted to start with that because we believe in protection of capital first, everything else second. And we just noticed this PHH today, and I'm like, holy crap. Hey, up next, the land of confusion, today's market. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Okay. So, somewhat of a wicked day for things, though I'm about to tell you that advanced declines on the New York were 2486 up, 1668 down. On the NASDAQ, 2716 up, 1619 down. But the Dow was down 165 and the NASDAQ was only up 5. What happened today? Well, first off, the semiconductor index was up 100. The stocks. Cool. Secondly, last week we had told you that a lot of areas that were dead, comatose, woke up and started coming up off the lows up the right side. And we said to you, we think this could be an important moment. We'll see. Yesterday, they pulled them back. Today, they ramped them again. The broad market. Simple as that. And we're talking home builders, transports, even oils today. Some of the metals and mining, not gold and silver. We'll get to that in a minute. Economically sensitive names. That's what was doing it. On the other end of the spectrum, though, I don't want to call it weirdness, but we walk in and JP Morgan's down 9 and change today on a downgrade. Goldman Sachs down almost 14 on a downgrade. And while the big banks were hit, the regional banks were up. Smaller, better than bigger today. That's why the advanced declines were good, but the indices, not so good. Some stocks that look like they had already, Amazon down 4 and change, Carvana down 11, DoorDash down 7. Boy, that DoorDash looked good. Netflix down 16, Spotify down 15. It was quite the interesting day, for the record. Very interesting. But semis good, and that's economically sensitive, the semis. Small and mid caps better, regional banks, housing, transports, which is rails and truckers, and oils had a boffo day today. A big day today, the oil stocks. Even though oil prices weren't up much, I think that was oil stocks maybe catching up with the shape of things to come. I'm not sure, but they had a very good day today. You know how I've been saying avoid? I'm not so sure I'm on an avoid anymore. And we've been on an avoid that for the oils for a very long while. Definite improvement today. Definite improvement. Now, as you know, I've been taking on the administration on their tariffs. As you know, their tariffs crashed the markets, which forced them to get rid of those tariffs and then change their minds 47 different times. But throughout the whole time, we had this pause, and it was supposedly to July 9th, which is tomorrow, but they have extended that to August 1st. There's tons of exemptions out there. They had 145 on China, went down to, I got a news for you. I don't even know what the hell anything is because there's so many moving parts. It's like they're playing the game of risk and monopoly with our economy, with the ever-changing. I think they're nuts. But what did I say about land of confusion? Let me read something to you, and I'm going to read what my good friend Gil Morales said. This is from Commerce Secretary Lutnick. And by the way, yes, this has everything to do with you, your money, and markets going forward. President Trump intends to go to 50% tariff on copper coming into this country. The idea is to bring copper production home. Gil Morales, my good buddy, in a reply on Twitter or X, what? Are copper miners outside the U.S. supposed to bring their mines to the U.S.? You produce copper where you find it, goofballs. Howard Lutnick, a Commerce Secretary, is a billionaire. President Trump's a billionaire. I believe Besant is maybe a billionaire. These are supposed to be the geniuses on finance and financials. Yet they want to put a tariff of 50% on copper coming into this country in order to produce it here. They're nuts. They're nuts. I don't know what they're thinking. I'm praying they don't cause another dislocation. I do know we have copper mines here. Arizona, I believe. New Mexico, Utah. But there's no way they can produce the amounts that they're thinking about. They're nuts. That's number one. The land of confusion. That's number one. Number two, and I'm not making this up. Earlier today, and I'll just read it to you. The president, 200% tariffs on pharmaceuticals coming into this country. I'm not making this up. In a cabinet meeting, repeats that he will soon impose 200% tariffs on pharmaceutical imports. Pharmaceutical companies will be given a year to 18 months to move production to the U.S. or face the tariff. So I'm not sure which this is. Is he imposing? This is the land of confusion. Is he going to pose the tariff now? Or in 18 months? He said two different things. I don't know. The first reaction with all the drugs and biotechs got hit. But then with the furthermore, here's the problem. That ain't happening. It ain't happening. They're in dreamland. It's the land of confusion. There's just no way certain things are going to be made here at the price and cost and all that crap, getting it from over there. I'm praying we get no dislocations off of this. Up next, we'll continue with the land of confusion. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Let's see. In 2024, the U.S. imported $212 billion worth of pharmaceutical products. 90% of prescription drugs consumed in the U.S. are imported from other countries. A six-fold surge since 2001. Sources of imports: Ireland, $50 billion, Switzerland, $19 billion, Germany, $17 billion, Singapore, $15 billion, India, $12 billion. Quantity in kilograms, though. China leads with 23%, Mexico 18%. Now, let me state for the record, I think it's a noble cause to have more manufacturing here. Well, let's try that without the stupid tariffs. They're moronic. Do you know what would happen right now if he put 200% tariffs? Oh, but Gary, he's just negotiating. Well, he wasn't negotiating in the beginning when the market crashed. Ibuprofen, China accounts for 95% of it. Acetaminophen, China accounts for 70. Hydrocortisone, China accounts for 91. Penicillin, China primary source. I think it's a great idea. But threat? Everybody is not the enemy. I think it's a noble cause. But I'm just reading to you, and quote, he will soon impose 200% tariffs on pharma imports. We'll see if that's just a threat or he follows through. I have no clue what he's going to do. But all I know is today, 50% on copper. Oh, and it says he will soon announce tariffs on copper, 50%. He put a bunch of tariffs on a bunch of countries. I don't know why we need to put a tariff on Kazakhstan and Bangladesh. I'll just say it again. Land of confusion. They BS'd us on the deals. How many countries were calling. And I think they're embarrassed by it. And that's why we're having all this movement all of a sudden. Because in case you don't know, trade deals take a year or two to put together. Not a couple of months. And countries will act in their own best interest. You do know that. And leaders of other countries do have egos. You do know that. I'm just bringing this up right now. I don't want the markets to crash again. He crashed them once. I don't want them crashing again. And markets are very fragile lately. You experience that into April. Land of confusion. Land of confusion. That's my take today. Back on the markets. Bad day for big banks, good day for regionals. Bad day for Dow, good day for the mids and smalls. Bad day for some of the high beta. But I didn't see much in the way of breaking down. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I love the fact the semiconductors were strong most of the day. They said something about semiconductor tariffs. By the way, copper, the CPER today on that tariff announcement went up 8.4%. Because if you put tariffs on copper 50%, let's say he does that, that's going to force prices up. 1 + 1 = 2. And man, I'm so rooting for this guy. But they're so wrong on this. They really do need my help. They're so damn wrong on this whole tariff thing. And unfortunately, the kiss asses are afraid to say anything untoward because then it's or else. And man, oh man, everybody's so afraid to disagree with them. Anyway, that's my take. Tomorrow's another day. What else? No earnings this week, but end of next week will be some of the big banks. We'll see what happens then because today they got smashed. By the way, they were on downgrades, but that's abnormal. We're a big believer. It's not the news. It's how things react to the news. And that's pretty damn harsh. I know they were extended and they could pull in, but this was not controlled. We'll let you know about tomorrow. The broader market, as we said, better. That started last week. We stick by that this second. If that changes, we'll let you know. It's just better stuff. The stuff, I call it. Again, the home builders were dead. They're perking up a little bit. The building construction were dead, perking up. The rails and truckers were dead, perking up. I can now add oils today, though depending on a commodity. Not all, but economically sensitive stuff perking up. And that's like chemicals and industrials and all that caca perking up. Interesting enough, with the good advanced declines today, the new high list actually contracted, and that is because there was a lot of different jello moving on the plate, and the best movers right now are the things that coming off the lows. Gold. We said it was going range bound a bunch of weeks ago, and that's what's happening. Not a real good day for gold today. Back below the 50-day moving average by a tad. I don't like the fact that gold miners got hit very hard today. We like when gold miners are stronger than the metal. They really came after the gold miners today and finished poorly. I think that has to do with the dollar getting a little bit better. Why would the dollar get a little bit better? Oh, because they've been selling off the bonds. As yields go up, the dollar will strengthen a little bit, or vice versa. So gold, range bound, but That's EH, by the way. And that's really the story of today. I went through different areas. I get asked all the time about Apple. Apple's been a little bit better, but I have to tell you, they're now hiring outside for their AI, so that means they couldn't get anything done with AI. I still remember they said Apple Car. There are no Apple cars. I'm just wondering, and don't get me wrong, they're still going to do $400 billion in revenues. Services business is still up. I got an Apple Watch. Just got a new iPhone. That's still going on, but nothing really new. And maybe that's what the market's saying at this point in time with Apple. If anything changes there, we'll let you know. The only thing that's changed right now is it's back above the 50-day moving average. That's all. It's back above the 50-day moving average. The stock's up 15% now in 4 years. So obviously not a big leader anymore. And that's a combination of what I just said, but also once you're doing near 400, they're nearing 400 billion. Let's see, 350 billion right now. It's tough to grow your sales. It's not easy. That's why I marvel at Walmart. They do like 650 billion. They still grow their sales a little bit. That's amazing. It's stunning that they're able to. And we know how many department stores and discounters have gone by the wayside. Hey, where's Kmart? So Apple, nah. I think it's kind of dead money right now. Again, if anything changes, we'll let you know. There's been an improvement, but I think it's only because of the market. That's really about it. Bitcoin, range bound still. Just so you know, Bitcoin hit a high in December and right there again in January. We're now into July. It's sitting right there after going through a correction. If you look at the IBIT, a move above 64 takes it out of range. The GBTC, a move above 88 and change, above range. Up next, this, that, and the other thing. And an email. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Hey, yo. So we like going over some of these emails because it gives us a chance to explain ourselves, defend ourselves, introduce ourselves to new people. So I got an email from somebody apologizing because they sent me an email they wanted to send to somebody else by mistake about me. So I guess somebody listened to my show And here's what this gentleman, who, by the way, has only been nice to me in his emails and has been emailing me for a long time. This is what he says about me. He is a smart guy, but his calls are terrible. I am amazed he manages money to high net individuals. My calls are terrible. Let me defend myself. Just this year, we're out of the whole yonking and the massive drop and the crash. And on April 22nd, my call to you, live on air, was we got a confirmation follow-through day, and the market now has an opportunity to finally turn the corner, knowing that the president, news-driven environment of all time, but we'll take that day and use it and see what happens. That was the day. Terrible calls. That's just this year. And forget the fact that we break apart the markets. And throughout this rally, we were telling you to avoid the home builders, and they kept going lower, and the oils, and they kept underperforming and going lower. Oh, how about the United Health Group of managed care? Terrible calls. Maybe he's thinking of the wrong person. I don't know. Let's continue. He does not believe in buy and hold. Well, that's not true. We believe in buy and hold, but as long as you can, whatever you're holding is doing well. The problem with buy and holding right now in real time, let's just go back a few years. First, you had the COVID crash. You like holding things down 50%. Of course, after the fact, everything came back. Terrific. But then we had a bear market where the average growth stock dropped 70%. You like holding something down 70%, hoping it's going to come back? By all means. We just had the Trump crash. Things were bludgeoned. You like holding things as they drop 50%, which a bunch of things did? God bless you. We won't. But if I can buy something and hold it for a couple years, I'm a happy guy. We believe in buy and hold, but only what's working. Next, he says, if he buys a stock and the stock drops a couple of dollars, he bails out, a.k.a. chicken. No, we're not a chicken, but we have simple rules. If we're very strict on where we're buying, we're very strict on where we're selling, because first and foremost, we're technicians, technical analysts, and we don't lose big. And I will tell you flat out, we haven't had a double-digit loss, and I cannot remember. Chicken. Next, if you have been listening to him, he just bought NVIDIA when NVIDIA reached around 154 to 155, but he did not buy it when NVIDIA was trading in the $30 range. Well, that's not true either. Last January 5th, I told you if NVIDIA breaks above $505, which with the 10-for-1 split is 50, buy the hell out of it. That Monday it broke out. We bought it. It only went up 90% in 2 months. Yeah, we didn't buy it at 30, but we bought a confirming move above 50. Next line. I listen to him frequently just to get his view on general market trend, not for stock-specific ideas, because he sucks coming up with stocks to buy. Okay. So when I give you out all the leadership stocks with the great relative strength that power their way up, so I guess this gentleman maybe doesn't listen careful enough. Everything I've just stated to you is facts. Are we wrong? Oh, yeah. But we're wrong fast, and we're wrong small. Simple as that. When we're right, we do everything we can to, and we bought the market right after that April 22nd turn in the market, and we have held since. Now, it's only 2.5 months, but since the market hasn't taken us out, We're cool. Do we make mistakes? Hell yes. We sold our Netflix too early, and I'm pissed off at myself. It's not an easy business. But we have certain rules and mantras we live by, and we will continue to put our best foot forward. And if we gave any advice to each and every one of you, listen carefully and don't do what this gentleman did by selectively picking and wrong on most of his thoughts. And it's interesting he brought up NVIDIA, which we absolutely nailed perfectly at a 6-month base last January and went up 90% in 2 months before it sat again for another God knows how long, before it just broke out again. Oh, and by the way, with NVIDIA, and I'll freely admit it, it hit 152 in the Trump crash, went down under 90. You want to hold that? God bless you. In real time, I ain't. Because in real time, you don't know what's coming back. And you never want to end up with a Citigroup, which right now is trading at 85. No, it's trading at $8.50. It did a 1-for-10 split from 08 and is still down about 80 some odd percent. And that is our answer to that email from somebody who likes me but thinks I suck. Can't please them all. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you go at home, do like I do. Simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. Stay well, be well. Until tomorrow, I do not suck. Have a great one, everybody. Take care. Good night.